This is, what time? All right, this is NoLaughTrack podcast. We are at episode 103. Thank you to Circle of Heat for letting us play their tunes, as always, at the beginning there. If you haven't yet, like us on Facebook or follow on Twitter. It's at NoLaughTrack. Like I said, episode 103, and we've had plenty of return guests. 2 first-timers at 103. I'm blown away.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It's a privilege.
It's our
It's
first
a privilege.
time.
Hopefully we become return guests.
Ben Sandell and Amber Preston.
Hello.
The co-headliners.
Co-headliners. First time doing that.
We actually go on stage and we do our jokes at the exact same
Yep.
time.
But we do I do
45
Ben's jokes. He does mine at the same time.
You know, it's funny. I've suggested to Amber that we do a comedy duels, duel, not a duel, a duo, not
Or
a
duel.
fight, not a fight on
Right.
stage, a comedy duo. And this is this is as close as we've come so far. So.
Someday.
One night down last night.
Yeah.
How did it go?
It was good.
I thought it was really, yeah.
They were a fun bunch. I would much rather perform during the week than on the weekend. So
There's smart crowds during the week. When they
Yeah.
come out on Tuesday, you know that they're there because they like comedy. When they come out on Saturday, they're there to let's just hang out.
we got a babysitter. You better entertain
You know
us.
what would be a hoot?
Yeah.
Some jokes.
Mm-hmm.
Let's
To
go
my-
to that comedy place.
Yeah, I've never been to comedy and I've done no research whatsoever, but they better be funny for what I like.
Not to disparage the
To
weekend
the people
crowds.
we won't be here, so forget them.
But it is sort of ironic that the weeknights they're better
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
for
And
a lot of comedians.
I had some folks come out that I hadn't seen in a while, so it's can play that I don't live here now card, so they come out, and so that's fun to get to see some pals.
Who went on first?
I went on first last night. And
Tonight?
Tonight I'll go on second, and then we'll flip back tomorrow.
Then you wrestle. You have the
We'll
duel
arm
for
wrestle?
tomorrow.
Right.
Right?
Well, you had the. Well, I shouldn't say.
No, you
we're
should
doing
say.
a contest.
Oh
We're
yeah,
doing
the contest is going. So that is always a bit tricky. It's a gamble.
Yeah, you had to dig your way out of that a little bit.
Oh,
Yeah.
explain.
No, well, there was just a couple of contestants that I'm not sure.
Right now we're in the beginning of
First-timers?
the
Yes.
funniest person in the Twin
So
Cities
people who
contest.
maybe have not been on stage very often, if at all,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes it's hilarious to just bring up talk about really weird things for a few minutes, and then sometimes the audience is laughing out of fear for their own lives. So it was just there were a couple interesting, not necessarily funny.
They were good people.
Yeah, they're giving it a go. I'm not. Hey,
Yeah.
I was.
It takes a lot of courage
tough,
to do that, but it can make the audience a little bit uncomfortable if there's jokes without laughter.
Well, and my friends afterwards, they said because they were not as familiar with the contest. A lot of our regulars that Acme know, it's that time of year,
Right.
and there'll just be a handful of those people,
Right.
and then it'll be the real show. But my gal pals that came to the show, they said after the second contestant, they were like, "Oh no, is this what the show is? Is this all? Is this like kind of an open mic
Amber,
thing?"
she's been doing this for a while, hasn't she?
Right?
Yeah.
They're on that poster out there. And then I did hear guys making fun of our poster. I was sitting out kind of there's a couple of posters of Ben and I, in the lobby and whatnot.
Yeah, nice
and,
looking posters.
yeah, I get nothing but fun compliments on the pictures that they put on there. And
there's only one poster, so we're gonna have to arm wrestle.
yeah,
for
there
that
you go.
poster.
Oh no, there's 2, I think. There's one over there and one over here.
Oh, well, then we
we
can
can each
vote.
have
That
one.
answers that question. I
Yeah.
was going to ask who gets it.
Oh yeah. And I am wearing we both have we're both touching our head on the posters.
And we look like no, you don't look like you're having a headache, but you
But
look
I
like you're
do
reading somebody's mind.
Look, and
I
I'm
look
wearing
like
my
I'm.
glasses, and I have a red polka dot dress and red lipstick, and these guys were like, "Oh, what's her deal?" She's like, "Oh, I'm Zoe Deschanel. I'm the zaniest. I'm so quirky. I'm so." And then that one guy was like, "What's his deal?" "I have a headache. I have a headache." It's like
The headache
Wait, who was saying
comic.
this?
these guys that were just standing right before the show, and I walked right by them, but I don't think they have no idea.
Oh, that's
who
awesome.
I am.
Posing by
So-
the poster.
So
Yeah.
they were audience members. So then later on,
I don't know if they were audience or contest. I think they were friends of a contestant.
Oh, then I don't feel so bad talking trash about the.
No, they were here for their buddy.
Yeah, I mean, and they weren't necessarily being
Ugh.
super mean, but I was like, is that that's the dig you've got for me that I'm quirky?
Ooh,
it was like,
Zoe
oh no, you're
Deschanel. Ooh, that hurts.
somebody,
Ooh, no one
somebody
likes her.
wildly successful, and the people that don't like her, who, well,
And that
they're not
guy-
going to come to the show because they don't like my red lipstick. Then I don't care.
And I secretly hope that my picture gets me a job, for like an aspirin
I
commercial.
was
There you
going to
go.
say, someone's going to bring you Advil
Yeah.
tonight.
I don't think it looks like you have a headache? I think it looks like you just met those guys in person and are going, oh, good, 22-year-olds.
Oh, this again.
Right.
Oh,
remember.
was I ever that young?
That's what I think.
I feel so. I mean, that's so true when you get to be in your 30s and you look back at people who are 22 and you're like, there's no way I was that young when I was 22. When I was 22, I was older than that.
I was.
But,
so
now
mature.
you weren't.
No.
You were.
No.
It's just 10 years. I can't believe how much 10 years has changed your perspective on things. And 10 years from now, I'm going to say the same thing about right now. So
Yeah, I wonder
I shouldn't even worry about it.
Yeah, we'll say that when 50 down to 40,
Yeah.
60 to 50.
Oh.
I was such an irresponsible 50-year-old.
Man, was I a crazy 36-year-old. I really was wild.
I do have to. It's one of those things. I really. It's like it's so easy to be like, oh, the 20s. That was great, you know. But when I was in my 20s, it was like, oh man, this sucks. I don't have money, and I got to realize that 10 years from now, when I'm going to look back and be like, those 30s, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Everything was, it was great, and you just I got to realize that now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like right now,
Yeah.
that everything is great.
Live in the
So I
moment,
know.
Ben Senzel.
I gotta live in the moment.
Enjoy the
It's-
now.
This is I'm trying to like do more comedy routines where I'm talking about this kind of stuff and being more positive in that.
Do you feel better
respect.
about life right now? Are you happy? Are you happy, Ben
I
Senzel?
do feel better about life
Justin,
right
let's
now
have a little
because
therapy
Yeah,
session.
let's
I'm
Let's
trying,
dig
you
in.
know.
Lay back
This
then.
is something I'm trying to do. Is not
Be
not
happy.
live for the future. I mean, you
Did
gotta
you
live
Were
for the
you
future.
always living for the future? Were you always worried about what's down the bend?
You have I think most people have this tendency that if I get this thing, you know, like for me, it's like, oh, if I got on Letterman, which won't happen anymore because he's retiring.
Right.
But if I got on, you know, Conan O'Brien, then that's all I need. And I've said that so many times in my life. Like the first time I really said that was when I do my first Fringe show. I do my own show. That's
Right.
all I really need. Once that's done, I can be satisfied. And like that. And at this point, I've learned that that's bullshit.
Well, and I
There's
think we
no-
get older, and especially in this business, you start to realize, like, okay, like the first couple of showcases you do at Acme, and you're like, oh my gosh, those girls from Comedy Central, or maybe it's a Montreal thing. You're like, this is it. This is my chance. And then the more of those you do, like, yeah, it doesn't matter. Even if you make it, none of it matters. It's such luck, or like this and that, and you just got to do what you do. And that just, I think your goals or what you I just want to get paid. I don't care where I'm telling jokes. That's so cool.
Yeah.
You got to drive to Michigan for hundreds of dollars.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Like that's all I need. That's all I need. Your goals, get higher, so that's good, and you care less, so that's maybe good too.
Well, that's the point of the caring less actually can be such a benefit. 'Cause the less you care, the more comfortable you are. When
Yeah.
you're on stage, for one thing, it's really hard to pretend to not care.
Yeah.
You have to truly not care, and then you're fine, and then you have to just, if you're not enjoying it as it's going along, then what's the point? Because those achievements they bring that fleeting satisfaction, and then it's just like, what's the next thing? Ah!
So is there something that you have in mind right now that is like it's going to happen and then you'll be satisfied?
Yeah, what's next on the to do?
Oh, it's been for a while. It's been getting a TV credit, like
Yeah.
getting on Letterman or something. And I know people who have been on Letterman and who've been on things and they're just nothing has really changed about them. But so I know that it's not gonna be a life-changing thing when it actually happens. But that's been my thing, and so now I'm trying to get to this point where I'm like, you know what? If I get on, great. If I don't, I'm not gonna be different. It's gonna.
Well,
I'm
and
gonna
you can
I'm
still be
gonna me.
successful. It used to be, like I think, if you got on Carson, it did make you
Mm-hmm.
a bajillion years ago, and now it can help, but it's not necessarily going to make or break.
Yeah.
You can be successful without having that or with having that, and so nothing really
And you can
matters.
be
I think is what we're saying.
you can be totally depressed and anxious after having that and a Comedy Central and you can be not to get so dark here, but you can be Kurt Cobain and have all the success in the world and then kill yourself. So
If
why?
I wish, am I right? I should be so lucky. What we're saying is nothing matters, kids.
Do
Nothing.
you think
No. Everything matters.
Everything
That's
matters.
the point. Is
Everything
that
matters.
this
Every little thing.
every single thing matters, and
Yeah.
that's the problem. Is that we live like only this thing in the future matters, but right now it doesn't matter. Then that's the problem. You have to flip that thinking.
Right. If you had told me 5 years ago that this conversation would be Ben being the positive one and I would be the negative one,
Yeah,
I
well,
would not have believed you.
so Amber and I have worked together in the Fringe Festival doing plays and
Okay.
things, and she has seen me under heavy stress, And I can be a very, very negative person. So it's that would be odd to see me being positive now, I guess.
I dig it.
I got you together on a table here. You're co-headlining.
Yep.
You must not have ruined things.
Oh no, I enjoy working with Ben. I think he's good peeps.
But I have one more I have a question of just what we were just talking about. So when you look at your peers that look to have had more success, do you go, yeah, like, can you understand why that happened, or you just look at it like,
I want everything.
They got the lucky break.
I want no matter what it is. I'm like, oh God, I want to do that ball cancer commercial. How come he got to do that? Like, no matter what it is, you're like, oh man. But and then you're like, oh, that's awesome. And then my thoughts immediately go to, sweet, one more person that's on my team that's having some success, and then that can help raise us all. But it's, I mean, it just raises all of our levels, I think.
It did. That's the thing about it, is that it's really hard because when you're struggling to have these successes, and then other people who are on your same level have them, you start asking like, well, why not me? And there's that level of jealousy that can hit, when in truth there's no reason to be anything but happy, because if people around you are succeeding, that's only a good thing. That's not a bad thing for you.
Right.
They're not pushing you down.
Well, and then I think of like right now I think of like the San Francisco crew with Totally Biased and Debbie Kamau Bell, and like bring all those people, all his writers. It's like, if one of us Minneapolis people, like, I want that for somebody in my little group of people, like that brings up all his people or the people around him. And so much of this business is who you know.
And Ben will when he makes it.
Yep. I will open for him.
You put up with his BS doing these shows.
And he put up with my BS. We worked together in Fargo, and he had the pleasure of meeting like my entire extended family and their craziness. So.
That you brought the crowd.
That's when you've got a lot of relatives, it helps. So. That Ben was so funny. Oh God, my aunts. Oh, he was so funny, and it was so nice, and he didn't have to use a lot of swears, and he didn't have to bring up Jesus, or what one of my aunts was like. One of my aunts was like, it was so nice because that one guy, he just offended so many people right off the bat, the Jews, the blacks, the gays, the Catholics, and then you guys were real funny. I don't know if calling these groups of people the group of people is okay. Well, we're all working through some things here, but
I purposely didn't. I do that bit this week that's sort of about religion. I purposely did not do that in Fargo because I was like, know your audience, and
I don't know. The point is, one of us, we want to be successful, so then I can go on the road and open for them.
Exactly. How do you remember meeting? When did you two meet? Here in this club, probably?
Probably, because I think, Ben, you maybe started like the year after I did.
Yeah, you started 1 year before me, and I saw you on stage before I met you.
And they said, I can do that. Anything she can do, I can do better.
This is chic.
You had already been moved up to the 5-minute slot.
Ooh,
the time I saw you. So you moved up fast.
I remember the night first time I got 5 minutes.
The open mic you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah. That's the open mic on Monday, which is, it's such a tiered system where it's, you start out, you get maybe 3 minutes, or you probably won't get on at all for months and months and months. And then you get on, you get another 3 minutes, and then at some point, they give you 5.
Oh, and it's very exciting.
Yeah.
I have a binder somewhere with the first 5 years of my career, Monday night.
Oh, the sheets? The names?
So ridiculous. Well, and some of them are nice because Swartzen's on there, Bamford, and Cation,
Oh, cool.
So there's sometimes, those are neat.
Were you here when Ron White showed up?
I was, because I was going to come down and do guest sets. I think maybe Chell or somebody was headlining that I was friends with and was going to let me do a guest set. I think I was emceeing here already. Maybe I wasn't, but it was very new MC, and I was going to get to do a guest set, but then I got bumped by Ron White. So I at least met him. He was really nice. But
yeah, I've heard he's nice. So
yeah.
That's cool. I've always liked his comedy, which is he's like the only blue collar that I've really liked.
Yeah.
But he's sort of unlikely. It's just like, man, I want to hang out with that guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can picture him telling those stories, and that's more the kind of comic I enjoy anyway, is that you can picture like that story. That's how that story would go if we were sitting at the bar.
I believe
the way
that.
He's telling that right now on stage. I'm like,
and I also don't. A lot of comedy, blurs reality. I don't know how much is made up with him.
Right.
I think a lot of it is real.
Yeah.
And
Which
if
I
it's
enjoy
not,
that.
he's very believable.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I've heard he when he pours the whiskey into his glass, it's iced tea. So that right
Well, that
there
makes me
is-
happy though. I worry so much about everyone's health, you know. So.
I mean, yeah, he would. I don't. If he drank that much whiskey on stage, I just don't see him being comprehensible at the end.
The best ever was years ago. We had the radio show I work on over at KQ. We had Lisa Lampanelli on as a guest.
Mm-hmm.
So on the air, she's Lisa Lampanelli. It's like, no, the blacks and the gays and all that stuff. And then she, the interview was done. She said goodbye. Calls back a few minutes later. Hey, this is Lisa. I just want to say thank you. It was such a privilege to be on your show, and I just really appreciate how nice you like almost unrecognizable.
Yeah.
This woman I was talking to on the phone versus this character.
Peeling back the curtain.
Yeah.
I've never seen her live.
It was crazy.
It's interesting about that persona is because I don't feel like I really have much of a persona on stage, and so
No.
but like Emo Phillips has that really kind of bizarre, and then off stage he's still
odd, but he's friendly
Like, in a
and
completely
we'll have
different way.
conversation
And Tim Slagle told me once, he's like, yeah, Emo Phillips, if he likes you, he'll be normal around you afterwards. If he doesn't like you, he'll just continue to be in character.
That's a good way to distance yourself.
I've seen that.
Yeah.
Him being
Same
staying
deal.
in
All the
character.
radio appearances he's done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose that's easier for him too. Like in a radio thing, to just come in and get everyone used to that character and how that's going to go, and so it's maybe a safety thing.
It took several
do that.
years where then he would be, at the table out after the show, and it's like this. I'm not going to say normal guy,
right? But not the character,
not
on
the
stage,
emo
yeah.
that's on stage.
Like speaking of emo, that's one of my first like great memories from comedy, because well before I decided to ever do comedy, I was a fan of Emo Phillips and listened to him a lot, and then I had the chance to work with him at Acme, and I just remember being on stage. I was emceeing and hearing him stand behind the curtain laughing at my jokes, and that was that was one of the great moments. So it's not related to what we were
but that's
talking about
awesome.
before.
That's awesome.
Because as much as we watch comedy, you don't always listen or watch the shows because you're around it so much.
It's funny you say that, because I'm sometimes surprised when I hear that, like that you guys are listening to the open mic, the contest people, like instead of just, I'm going to go hang out with my friends and have a, glass of water
sometimes
before the show.
you want to be paying attention, so you don't cover any similar material, or
And we judge it a lot too. Don't you judge?
Yeah, sometimes we'll be judging the contest. So
I think I've sat at a judge thing with you before, Ben, here.
Judging the contest?
Yeah, some sort of contest here.
where they make you sit up
we
front
did.
sometimes.
I can't remember what that was.
I don't know what it was either, but I feel like I was hosting it. It
Was
was
it
a rooftop
rooftop?
something. Because you guys were sitting right in the front row.
Yes,
Oh, I forgot all about that.
Right behind
College
where you two are right
contest,
now.
yeah.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I have a gift of remembering sometimes the dumbest stuff. So I'll meet people, and they're like, "Oh, I think we met." I'm like, "Yeah, actually, that one time in 1996 at that one party," and they're like, "Okay, psycho." That's
You know what I just remembered?
what.
I have your autograph.
Well, that's gonna be worth something someday. Oh, that's good. On what?
On a Mark Maron poster.
Oh, from the Triple Rock.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have that. I have that same poster.
Yeah.
Not yours, but the same poster in my bedroom that he signed. That was the first time I worked with Mark. Not that I've done a ton, but a handful of times. I was very nervous for that because I just didn't know what his crowds were going to be. I didn't know if they're going to be like judgy comedy snobs or what. I mean, there's always judgy comedy snobs,
Right.
but they're like, no, you got it. He's our Maron. You don't. No one can be around that.
Yeah,
But-
you're not as deep as him.
right. That was a fun show. Yeah, Triple
It was
Rock
a fun show.
was
I remember
forever ago.
he took out a letter. He read a letter on stage that he had written to his
ex-wife. Yeah. Spite baby. Yeah.
That's right. Oh, that's your move, huh?
Yeah. Oh, funny.
I've never met. Oh, I did. I met Mark Maron once, but my brother Alex is frenemies with him on Twitter, so that's
I
how
think
it
he's not
interesting.
alone, your brother, and being a frenemy with Mark. I think he's got a lot of. It is insane the amount of like weird fame and haters, and it's just a weird since we're talking about Maron, I tweeted one day that said I'm going to start a podcast. He comes up in every podcast, no matter what. But if you're talking comics and you're talking pot and you're on a podcast, somehow he comes up, which makes sense. Very popular podcaster and popular, whatever. But I tweeted one day, I'm going to start a podcast called meeting Marin, and it's just comics sharing their first time meeting Marin. They got a bunch of like dumb, like funny or stupid or like whatever the Twitter things are.
Yeah.
And then I got a couple of like riding other people's coattails much. This is stupid. And I'm like, it's Twitter.
Oh no.
I'm not. Am I supposed to fight? I don't know what to do. You got me, or F you. So does your brother? Does he poke at people? He likes to. Besides Marin, does he like to?
He's a passionate person.
Yeah, what's behind that? Why?
Let's just say he's a passionate person on Twitter. He's very, opinionated.
Yeah.
And
it's a safe space to be opinionated in, I guess.
He will connect with other people who are opinionated, and inevitably, two people who are strongly opinionated are going to end up having some friction.
Yeah.
And kind of like with Mark Maron, it seems like it's kind of they've gotten in fights, and then they've like made up, and it's just all through Twitter, and it's just the oddest thing.
Yeah,
really?
It is an odd thing, that Twitter. I can't follow. I'll try to follow Twitter fights. Like I'll see something, I'm like, ooh, there's something's going on, and then I try to go back and read replies and stuff, and I can't. I don't know who, when, what, and forget it.
Yeah, they get a little jumbled.
Yeah.
Is your brother in entertainment or anything? What does he do?
No, he's online writing a lot.
He's a regular Joe.
He's a regular Joe, but he's into that whole. I mean, he has all the interest in that, so he's on Twitter way more than me. Twitter, I can't. That's another thing that makes me feel old.
I just Twitter. I like force myself.
I can't keep up with it.
Yeah.
And I'll do it for a while. I'll do like, okay, I got to do two a day, and then I build an audience.
Use the Hootsuite. That's what I do. My friend Andrew Slater, who's another comic from I think Seattle and lives in LA. One day we're like, let's writing challenge, and we're gonna do it. Yeah, we're tweeting, and we're like, we are old people, like psyching ourselves up. But it's fun, and it's like sometimes it's just a dumb way to put dumb jokes that you might not ever say. Or you're like, oh, I got a couple of likes. Maybe I'll try that at the open mic. Oh, bad idea. Okay.
It still takes time, though, to come up with those dumb jokes.
Right.
It takes time, and there's a little bit of stress every time you post it. Like, am I going to get a fave?
Right.
Oh, fave doesn't really, it's not as good as a retweet. Mm-hmm.
Who favored it? How many followers do they have? It's so dumb.
Yeah.
But I feel like if I'm doing it when I'm not, like, it's good to, report about shows and marketing, but
is Hootsuite free?
Oh, Hootsuite. So Hootsuite, Hoot Suite, is a place where you can like schedule a bunch of tweets. So I'll go in and schedule like, hey guys, gonna be at Acme tonight, so I don't have to think about it today. So I'll go. You can schedule tweets ahead of time, or just put in if you think of a dumb joke, but you're like, well, I just tweeted 2 seconds. Or
you know you need to look out for with that though.
What?
Is if there's some like national tragedy. And then 2 minutes later, you have a tweet coming out like, "Oh,
hey
just
guys.
got my nails done.
Right.
Big show tonight."
Yeah.
Like that heartless.
Right.
I've seen. I think I saw Kim Kardashian get some serious backlash from that once.
No.
So
okay,
it was
well,
after,
Kimmy
like,
K
a
and I are
school shooting or something.
Yeah.
So be careful.
Like I'm gonna be shooting the jokes out tonight. Come on down. I don't know. It's a weird world.
Killing it tonight.
Yeah. It's a weird world we live in, but people dig it, I guess.
You know what place is really stable right now? Iraq.
I reckon you might want to come to my shows tonight.
Iraq.
Am I? Oh boy. Maybe don't tweet so much. I guess no.
Yeah. It goes well when I do it. It just takes so much mental energy, and God.
And everybody craps on it. I'll get caught up in the at midnight games.
Yeah.
But I think it's fun, and I was like, it's so stupid. Like anybody's gonna even see your at midnight tweet. Like they even care. I'm like, well, I'm not tweeting at midnight in the hopes that Chris Hardwick sees my one tweet out of the thousands about ruin the 90s. And like that's just kind of fun writing exercises. And,
it's just a topic that's thrown out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a big deal.
So I enjoy that kind of fun stuff, and I don't know. I'll look at them. Something to do on the bus.
You won the Ben. You won the funniest person.
Yeah, you did.
Right?
Oh, go on.
Yeah.
Do you
still have the crown and sash?
That was 2006.
Oh
so long ago.
I didn't even make it to the finals my year. Neither did Tommy Ryman. Tommy Ryman and I were in the contest.
Brooks Robinson
yeah, we were in the contest the same year. Tommy Ryman didn't even make it to the semifinals, and I can say that now because he's like having hot sets on on national television.
Yeah, he's kicking butt.
Yeah. And then I didn't make it to the finals, and Brooks Robinson won my year.
Yeah, and
then
Chuck Bartel won the year before that, and Tim Harston won the year before that.
I was in the audience the year Tim won it.
And Eric Allen won the year after I won, and then I lose track after that.
I don't know. Who else was in your finals? Do you remember?
I
remember knowing you were going to win.
Was in there, and I don't know where he's been lately.
He's in LA.
And then I can picture their faces, and I can't remember.
But they're not around?
Can't remember their names.
Oh, that contest. Chews people up and spits them out, Justin.
Yeah, it really
It is a
really
fun.
does.
I'm kind of out of the scene, haven't been gone the last few months, but when around contest time, it's always like, oh, there's some open micers. Who at horse is looking good this year? But I don't know anybody.
Well, here's an interesting piece of trivia. Cy Amundsen, who is having mad success
Mm-hmm.
in everything he does, he was in the contest the same year I was, and the first round, he and I were on the same night, and I kicked his ass.
Yeah, you did.
And then, but he still did well enough to advance to the second round, and we were on the same night again, and I beat him again.
Yeah, you
and
did.
I credit all his success back to that, because I think that when he had that second night when he lost to me, he's like, you know what? Screw this. I'm going to show Ben up by becoming the most successful comedian from this generation.
somewhere
Acme.
right now, his ears, like somewhere
I know his
he's
ears are
he's
burning.
doing a bench press and lifting weights right now, going, somebody's talking about me. I got to get to Minneapolis. I got to get on stage and sabotage and get everybody looking at me and not Ben Sandell right now.
When
Yeah,
you
that's
get
what
to
I-
Minneapolis, he pops in here. Last week we
Yeah.
were in the middle of recording, and he just walked in.
I wouldn't be surprised.
So,
His ears are
literally.
burning. He's got mics in here right now, like just making
Yep.
sure that everyone's thinking about him.
But he has, I think he has a poster of me still, and wherever he lives. And every time he has some piece of success, he throws another dart
Dart
at
at
that
the
poster, and
Nintendo.
he's like, "Yeah,
Oh, nice.
yeah, take that, winner of 2006. I'm
Yeah.
the winner of the rest of the years."
I'm the winner of life. I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna say you did so well last night, and then when we were in Fargo too, people liked you so much. I'm gonna be like, forget that Ben Sandell.
Well, there was a stretch of time for like a year around like 2009 where Cy's introduction, like here at Acme, would be better than Ben Sandell, Cy Amundsen, and he'd come on, and then when he had enough success, I think he started feeling bad about that, so he stopped doing it.
Oh,
But I
he
was like,
doesn't have feelings. That's not true.
he has
Oh,
a lot
does
of
he?
feelings. He just represses them.
He's a good Scandinavian Midwesterner.
Yeah,
The point is, Ben Sandell makes people's dreams come true.
Yep.
Through its spite
Mhm.
or happiness. I don't know. I don't know
Well,
what the
one or the
opposite of
other.
spite is.
That
but-
was through negativity, but now
Yeah.
I'm trying to make people's dreams come through by pep talking about the positivity of the now.
Nice. I'm gonna
Cy
remember that
just had
tonight.
his first CD come out. Did he thank you in the liner?
I don't think he did.
Oh boy.
He did tell me a long time ago the title was going to be better than Ben Sandell, but that was not.
It's not.
It's Lovesick in Toledo.
Yes.
Maybe there's a hidden track about
Mhm.
Ben Sandell.
No, I don't think it is, and it makes me. I cry myself to sleep every night over this.
No, you're positive now. Don't.
I try to be.
Yeah.
I try to be.
Amber, I saw on your, and I remember this coming. I'm hearing about this several years ago, but you have it. I saw it listed on your website about the Flo from.
Yeah, I almost got to be in a commercial with Flo.
So what?
I didn't.
It wasn't to replace her.
No.
It was to be like a.
They did like a really, it was really smart marketing. It was still, I feel like those online contests were a thing, but it wasn't. It was kind of a good, like right before they maybe peaked where everyone was so annoyed that you had to online vote for crap. Which now, no, I think they were like, oh, that doesn't work anymore. I entered a friend's mom told me you should sign up for this Progressive Insurance. They're having a contest for someone to be Flo's assistant, and you got to be in a commercial with Flo. And any brunette with red lipstick and black eyeliner looks like Flo. It doesn't matter what you really look like. People are like, oh, you look like Flo. No, I don't, but kind of. So you made a video, a 30-second video, I think it was, and it just had to end with, now that's Progressive, and tell them why you thought she should be Flo's assistant. I think it's still on. It's definitely still online somewhere.
It is. It has like 16,000
yeah.
views or something.
Yeah,
like that.
because so the contest went crazy. It's popular, and then there was online voting. I don't remember the first round. There was a lot of online voting, so it was a lot of like, hey, Facebook friends, vote for me. But luckily, like through here, and it was. I was surprised at the outpouring of like people that were like, I think Flo's super annoying, but Amber would make a good assistant. Vote for her here. And you didn't have to sign up for anything, so you could just click, and then they narrowed it down to like 10.
Her sister or something.
Right. Well, that's what I think hurt me when I got out there. So I got made to the finals. So they flew 3 of us to LA. One gal lived there to I got to spend a week there. My little sister came along, which was great because then I did comedy. Like looking back, I should have invited the people from the ad agency. I just didn't really. It was a weird thing to the comedy shows. But Lewis hooked me up and like met a few people and like got me some stage time in LA. And then it was an amazing week because I did that. And then that weekend I did the Aspen Comedy Festival, the Rooftop Aspen Comedy Festival, where Mark saw me and then asked me to open for him here. And so it was a very exciting summer.
Yeah.
But we had a day of auditions with Flo, and like there was some people from the ad agency, and then some lady, an insurance rep, actually won a contest as well. So she got to be there. And the people in the contest that I was doing and their guest of honor got to be there. And they put us up at the Standard on Sunset in Hollywood. And the director of the last several commercials and the copywriters of the commercials were there. And we spent a day. We did like fun quiz games with Flo and hair and makeup. And when I came out of hair and makeup, they were like, "Oh my gosh, you guys look so much alike." And my personality, my like show glow personality, is very Flo-like. That just like, I'm so zany, I'm so quirky, you know.
Zoe.
Exactly. So I think I was so much like her. This guy won it, and then the commercial he was in was basically a commercial for the movie Tron. Because every once in a while I'll still get emails from people that are like, "Hey, is that guy that's dancing around like money in the Progressive commercials? Is that the guy that won that contest you were in?" He was in one commercial that ran. It was Flo and this guy were like, you know, they had the remote control and they were trying to fix the pricing board. And they were like, the guy that won the contest was like, "Hey, Flo, I think our board is broken." And then they looked up at it and it was a preview for the movie Tron. And then another Progressive employee came by in a Tron costume and the Progressive apron and said, I don't know who did that. You know, wink, wink,
Right.
he did it. And then that was it. So, I don't feel too bad.
Yeah,
But she was really nice, and I haven't run into her in LA, but if I do, I would, you know, introduce myself, and she would, I'm sure, remember, because she was so friendly and we knew a bunch of the same stand-ups, because at that time, Rob Delaney had just done a Progressive commercial. She, I think, does more improv, but had done some stand-up and definitely some sketch, because I was going to Aspen that weekend, and she was like, "Oh yeah, I did that festival," and she was telling some stories, and
wow.
Yeah, so, and she still performs with the Groundlings in Los Angeles. She does improv.
Yeah.
And sketch still. So she's got, oh man, that career, that would be awesome. I know some people hate her, but I'm sure she thinks of that as she's sitting on her piles of money.
Yeah, right.
Because she does all that print work, but she can, when she's not in hair and makeup, she looks, you wouldn't know that's Flo. And she's done she's been in Mad Men, and she's been some bit parts in TV and film, but
she's been in Mad Men?
She was in the first couple seasons.
Did you see it, or did she just tell you?
No, I've seen it in Mad Men. She's in in their first office. They have the 3 telephone operators, and like they always like open that little door, and there's like the 3 little Lily Tomlin like telephone operator ladies, and she's one of those gals in the first ad agency office. I think I saw her in like Buffy or something too. She's definitely had bit parts and things, but you know, can still go to the grocery store and just be normal, and then counter ad money. That's the life. So yeah, that was fun. I got a free trip to LA and met Flo.
16,000 hits on YouTube.
That Progressive thing, and it's funny because you get all these haters. So the contest, they had it on their website. It's so weird. To be like, "Oh, she's just trying to be just like Flo." Well, yeah, no shit. It's a contest to be in a commercial with Flo.
Yeah.
You have somebody commenting negatively on every single thing you do.
Pretty much.
Is this
the poster?
Really?
And
yeah, apparently.
Somebody just following you around.
I usually don't. I don't read things. I don't ever look at
really
YouTube comments.
They make your soul hurt.
I don't ever try to look at those unless somebody points out. There is a clip of me online that somebody MySpaced me. I opened for Norm Macdonald at the House of Comedy, like the first month it was open.
Yeah.
And I'd also worked with him in Texas. Very nice, crazy funny. And I was emceeing at the House of Comedy and just didn't go. I didn't have a great week. They just never really loved me. Sometimes when you're opening for someone that famous, they're like, "Oh, just hurry up and get to him." But I just, for whatever reason, I just didn't hit that great with the audience.
Yeah.
And then someone via MySpace, that's how long ago it was, sent me, they were like, "Oh, I just thought you want to see this." No, I don't. It was a clip somebody had put online, a store that's in St. Paul, their YouTube account, I shall not name them because we will not support them, put this clip up that was said, "The worst comic so bad it's an embarrassment that it's even called comedy," or something. And it's a phone clip of me. Like it starts at the halfway through one joke and ends in like, it wasn't a funny joke to be fair. I mean, it wasn't great, but it's still
it's not
you know. But it's not even an edited. It's not even a full joke that they have in the clip, and it was like And then the description is like, she sounds like all the cats she probably lives with, and this is the worst. And it's just more proof that women aren't. And it was like, why would you? So you took the time.
More
pull
proof
out your
that
phone.
Women aren't funny.
And then clip comic so bad. It was like somebody in their basement like, I'm going to change the world. I'm going to put it up. I don't even know her name, but I'm going to put up this clip. And I'm like,
he was probably jerking off while he wrote that.
Probably.
Negativity turns him on so much.
It is, but it's like, what? So I try not to read the YouTube comments and things because you're never going to. And I think I told you this story. In San Diego 2 weeks ago, I was performing. And in the middle of the show, this guy told me I sucked and I wasn't funny. And his girlfriend was like, what? You're just...
Wait, are you ever funny? Or
apparently not. Never, ever. Not ever. And
so anybody who's listening to this, she is funny and come out this week.
By the album that I'm recording this week. I told... These people afterwards were like, we thought you were great. And I can't believe that guy. I said, if everybody in the world, that happens all the time. People just maybe don't think you're the funniest. If everybody thought I was the funniest, I wouldn't be doing this. I'd be living in a castle somewhere, counting big bucks. But
is there any comedian that everybody thinks is
the
funniest?
They would be ruling the world.
Jim Gaffigan.
Yeah.
But some people there's haters that are
really
like, all he does
him.
is talk about food, and I hate that whisper voice. And I'm like, oh, okay, some people just like to be unhappy.
It's true.
Yeah.
I know one that everyone likes.
People are entertained by it.
No, that's what Cy will tell you. That's his story.
But it's funny, though, the things that get on YouTube that become, like, I have a Rooftop Comedy put up a clip of one of my hackiest jokes about PMS.
What's that one? Share it with us.
It has
make
like
us laugh.
It has like 40,000 views, and it's like I haven't done it for years.
Right.
But it's just like, really, that's the thing. That's the thing that's gonna be like if I die right now, that'll be like the main thing that was out there. Is that
I know
that
it's
PMS
you do want to
joke.
go back and scrub things. We are living in an age when you're like,
it's the joke is women. Okay, I gotta remember this joke.
Women are crazy.
Women be bitches. Am I right? You know that's.
Yep.
Am I right, fellas?
Yep.
Am I right?
Yeah.
It's like no, I
something about women and PMS.
It was like I don't think I could handle. I really have a lot of respect for women when it comes to putting up with having their period because I don't think I could handle having it, even if it happened to me like once a year, but it's like once a month. Once a month, that's like the phone bill. I just paid this. It's like the phone bill, a week-long phone bill with severe penalties if it's late.
Mm-hmm.
Hey-o.
He makes that hey-o noise.
AT&T screwed us. You know, that's the joke. And it has 40,000 hits. I have not dared read the comments on it. I haven't checked on it.
Well, that's funny because we're going to do that right now. This segment where I bust you on YouTube
This
comments.
is called the podcast where he gets Ben and Amber to have complete mental breakdowns and question everything they've ever done.
Oh, but that's just how it works. I think my one clip that's on a Rooftop CD on iTunes is a clip about dogs shitting, and it's just like
yes. I think I saw that. You have something on a CD called Farts, the
yes,
best of bathroom
it's like,
humor.
again,
you're on a rooftop CD called Farts? That's awesome.
And I was like, again, that's going to be I have all these things, all these jokes now that I'm proud of.
Yeah, but you get a check for like $20
like the
bucks
secret
every 7
to happiness, and they're about these. I haven't got a check from Rooftop for years, so apparently
it's $8 on Amazon right now.
You can buy this. Everybody listen to this. Go download that one track.
So it's a PMS joke, and it's a joke about dogs shitting on a fart CD. My two biggest claims of fame.
That's hilarious
because
you were like one of the
jokes
smartest.
I haven't done in 5 years, and it's
but
like
they're
really
archived. Now you don't have
things?
to do those because they're out there. I think it's crazy the guys that start now, guys and gals starting comedy now, how willing, and then especially with Rooftop, people were like, "Hey, here's my set from the open mic last night." I was like, if I had the first couple of years, I mean, and there are some things out there online that I'm like, oh, we should get that down. But it's so easy to put your stuff up there. I can't imagine having my first few years of stand-up sets just putting it out there for everybody to see. Like that's no.
No, you want to have control.
Let's work on this
that.
a little bit.
No one else can have control of that.
It is.
Well, there's something that I saw when I was looking stuff up about you guys, Ben, that you've done that I am super jealous of. That I would have a blast to do because I used to what's the website? Funny or Die used to have a caption contest, and I used to do it every day, and I even won like 2 T-shirts for having the best caption voted on and everything. But your captions on the style, explain what
is MinneapolisStyle?
Yes.
.com. The website is like a fashion. It's like a local Minneapolis fashion website. And
I've never seen it.
And the editor of it, John Mark, I came across my website and saw like one of my comedy bits, and he had this idea of like, we want to get more comedy into our site. So what if I send you actual pictures of like runway models, and you come up with funny captions for them. And I was like, yeah, I love doing that kind of stuff. And I've only done 4 updates, maybe 5.
But 4 times how many?
And there's generally about 12 pictures, 12 captions per update, and people have really liked them, and I've had a fun time. I'll write about 20 captions and then narrow it down to 10. I'll have, I'll run it past a couple friends of mine, and they'll be like, "Nah, that was not funny," and so then it narrows down, but it's like doing those caption contests. Yeah, I'll write 20 for each one, and then narrow it down to 10. And it's like doing a caption contest. But these fashion, and then lately he's been sending me fashion advertisements, which are just the most weird, bizarre, outlandish things. And you can have a lot of fun just writing a weird that my tactic lately has been to write the caption as if it's somebody in the picture saying it. Mm-hmm. So that's been fun.
Fun get outside what you normally.
It's called Ben Sandel's Fashion Statements.
Nice.
What were you saying? I'm sorry.
No, it's fun, and it gets you out of what you normally write.
There was one I was looking at him this morning. There was something about the picture. The model it looks like she's got, you made the comment, something about a giant, like her pubic hair is basically out of control. It's not what it is in the picture, but that's what it looks like.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that's kind of that's the taste of it.
Do you have any hot tips for the fall fashions that we should be keeping an eye out for, or we should be putting? What's the one statement piece we should be putting in our closet? Merkins? Is that
one thing that is odd about me is that I don't pay attention much to what I wear, but I really do pay attention to what other people wear, and I like
what he's saying is
fashion.
He's judgy.
You appreciate I try to spot what the trend is going to be. Like I try to spot what's going on now, the thing that 5 or 10 years from now, people are going to look back and make fun of, like, oh, that's so 2014, because it's so hard to see in the moment. And so that's like a fun challenge to me.
I tie-roll my
that's
jeans.
That's going to be the thing. Yeah. That's going to be the thing that people are made. She's going to look back at the picture of herself and be like, what was I thinking? And you can do that right now. Like, look back at a picture of yourself 10 years ago and be like, what was I thinking while wearing Crocs? Like, you're doing it again. You're thinking what you were thinking then is what you're thinking right now, which is, I'm just going to follow a trend. Even if it's ridiculous, that's what the trend is, and you don't think about it too consciously, but it kind of fluctuates, because sometimes trends are really great. Sometimes the trend is like, oh, I like this trend. Everybody's looking classy, they're looking good. And then the next year is like, oh, this trend is terrible.
Anna Winter, I think we need to call Ben Sandel. You are Mr. Fashion Police.
The real trend that it really bugs me right now is the shaved sides of the head, so it's like
on girls or guys,
and girls, and they have a mullet. The mullets have come back. They have the sides of their heads are shaved, but there's long on top and in the back, so it's this weird mullet look, which is sort of going back to like the 1979 punk look. Yeah. That's really been popular now again, and everything just goes on a loop. I just want it to come back to 1960 look, but that's never going to happen, because that takes.
For ladies or guys, you want
for both.
Yeah. That's your jam.
Because that's such a classy, cool look. I mean, that's why it's so great to watch Mad Men those first couple of years. It's like, God, everybody looks so great, but it takes so much time to dress like that. But
so
that will never come back. So the best we can ever do is go back to like 1979.
You're wearing a shirt with buttons today.
Yeah.
Making a statement.
Not a hard shoe, but close.
Yeah.
I would not have guessed we would have ended up at that place.
I dress the same way. I've dressed the same way for pretty much all my life. I never...
Did you ever tight roll your jeans?
No.
Pins?
I did wear Zubas. That was the only trend I followed. Yeah. When I was 9 years old, I wore Zubas in the early 90s. And that's a really sharp example of how a trend can get completely out of the way from everybody.
And there was a mini Zubas return a few years ago, but it never really
And bell bottoms always come back once in a while.
Yeah. Well, they just look so nice. Yep.
It just what people need it needs to go from being that's out of style to that's been out of style long enough that we forgot that it was ever in style, so it can be in style again because we just don't even know, or it's vintage, and so everything, and music does that same thing.
Yeah.
Like what is the music right now? What's the sound? I mean, the 80s had a sound, 70s had, even the 90s had a sound, but after the 90s.
That's a good
question.
question.
Is there a sound now?
I don't know.
Well, there's so many different places to get your music, and where so many different people creating it. There are no big names, big machines, big studios putting it out, pumping it out. So we're all in control of our own sound. There's no, the radio isn't telling me what is popular. I could just listen to whatever I want with all the internet radio and friends and online. And
so basically, what you're saying is that the sound, there wasn't a sound in the 2000s. The revolution in music was actually the format.
I suppose.
So we have Nirvana in the 90s, but in the 2000s it was iTunes. That was the Nirvana of that decade.
I think so, because you weren't forced to get a whole album. People don't buy the entire album anymore.
I remember watching a little